Today we're going to be installing TurnKey UTV's new Baja series front bumper on the Can-Am Maverick. Let's get started. Okay, so the tools needed to complete this are basic household tools that most anyone should have. You'll need a couple socket wrenches. You'll need a 10mm socket, a 1/2 inch, a 13mm, two 15mm sockets. You'll need a T27 Torx bit, a couple short socket extensions, a 10mm wrench, and a 13mm wrench. All the bumpers come pre-made with winch attachments. These were built around specifically the OEM Warn winch, but other winches should be able to be installed as well. They have two different options for the skid plate. This one here is for if you're not running a winch. It doesn't have the cutouts for the fair leads. If you order one with the winch, it will have the cutout for the fair leads and it'll look like it's made for it. Alright, so let's get started. First thing you need to do is remove these little mini skids from the underneath side. To do that, you'll use a 10mm. Okay, the next step is to remove the 3 mounting bolts. You have one right here, it's a pass-through bolt, and you have 2 upper bolts, one right here and here. All right, to remove the bolts, you'll need a 13mm socket wrench with extension and a 13mm boxed end wrench. All right, for the lower bolt, you'll need 2 15mm sockets with extensions. Okay, now the only thing left is remove the 3 bolts. Start with the bottom one. Wiggle the frame around, pull it out. Just take it off and you're good to go. Okay, here's a side-by-side comparison of the two. The Can-Am front bumper is made out of aluminum. It's actually a pretty light bumper, but strength is going to be in question there, being that it's made out of aluminum. The TurnKey UTV bumper is made out of steel tubing with some really nice TIG welding. It's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's by far going to be a lot stronger. Okay. We have to remove these T27 Torx bolts and the backing nuts because we'll reuse them to install the skid plate on the Baja series front bumper. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is replace some of the hardware on the frame. These were the 2 lower skid plate mounting bolts, and these were the original push nuts. We're going to replace those, and we're going to move them over here, and we're going to use all this hardware. Basically, we're going to use bigger bolts and bigger lock nuts or slip nuts, and then we'll use the remaining hardware. So let's get them installed. Okay, this is the stock mounting hardware for the lower bumper mount. We're going to get rid of that. We're no longer going to use that, and this is what we're going to use now. So basically, you're going to use 2 more slip nuts. These are the longer 2 in the kit. 2 washers and 2 bolts. And we'll show you where those mount right now. Okay, let's go ahead and install the slip nuts. You want to make sure the nut side is facing inboard. So slide it over till it's lined up for the hole. Do one, same on the other side. Alright, now let's go get it installed. Alright, so let's get started with the install. First thing you need to do is place the lower portion of the bumper in between the skid plate and the frame. Okay, while holding it in place, install your bolt. Make sure you put a washer on. Slide it through the hole. Line it up with your nylock or slip-on nut. Okay, just get it in pretty close to tight, but don't snug it down yet until you get them all in. Do the other side. Again, you don't want to tighten them down all the way. You just want to get them close to snug so we can get our upper 2 in and then get everything lined up. Okay, the next step is to install the upper mounting bolts. To do that, you'll need a 13mm boxed end wrench for the nut. And I put both extensions together here just so we can clear the radiator hose, and a 13mm socket and wrench. Okay, you're going to reuse the stock hardware. The only difference is going to be you're going to put a washer on it this time. So go ahead and pivot it into place. Put your bolt in. Okay. Reach through the front bumper and install the nut. Again, you'll want to tighten it down, but you want to leave it loose until you get everything on and everything mounted, and then you'll tighten everything down. So let's get it close. Okay, now we just go and tighten them all down. Alright, the last step is installing the skid plate. Basically slide this down over the top. Make sure the bottom is between the underbelly skid plate. And then we'll use the hardware we reviewed earlier and get it mounted. Okay, the last step will be to install the Torx bolt and nylock nuts right here. Alright, so that's it. TurnKey UTV Baja series front bumper on a Can-Am Maverick. If you're interested in any other accessories for your Maverick, don't hesitate to contact TurnKey UTV at turnkeyutv.com.